Hey guys, what is going on? This is Ip of Rage Quit TV, gonna be casting the IPL5 Korean Regionals. We have MarineKingPrime spawning as the Red Terran, and just south of him is the Blue Zerg ST.Curious. He is a really good Zerg player. He has made it out of Code A to Code S twice, but every time he does, he gets put into like a group of death. One of them was MVP, Marine King, and Alive. That is just a group that no Zergs are going to be able to get out of because those Terran players are so freaking abusive. I don't care if you're Nesty, Stefano, you're going to have a tough time with that group. Curious was the very first Korean to actually qualify for the TSL4, going 3-2 against Seed in the finals of the first qualifier on the Korean server, which is a big accomplishment for him. So again, a really good Zerg player, but Marine King, he is the Terran player that can come back in any situation. He has really good micro and knows how to keep the units alive that he needs to. Going back into his game against Seed, microing those medevacs that were out of energy, not needing them, allowing them to absorb damage, and allowing his Marauders and Marines just to get a few extra hits off, which allows him to then win the game. And then against, like, I think it was Hyun, that he just kept 10 medevacs alive for the entire game, not being able to produce them because his middle line just got ravaged with banelings and lings. Didn't have an economy, but he had mules where he could produce Marines and kept all his gas units alive, and just allowed him to keep putting on pressure. And that is what Marine King is known for, putting on pressure from the beginning to the end of the game. We do have the drone going to be coming in here for Curious. Marine King looking like he wants to go for a CC first. Drone sees the one SCV leave, comes in here, sees 14 other SCVs with 13 mining minerals, one chasing him. So he goes, okay, it can't be any type of 2Rex. He is going to come down here, see the SCV building this command center, but because there's already an SCV harassing that drone, this is a battle the drone cannot win. And he is going to go try to do a little bit of micro, try to take out this SV. Not going to be providing successful, just going to go into the main, see one barracks put down, and is he going to take a gas and survive a little bit longer? It doesn't look like that. Of course, Marine King still producing SCVs during this whole time because, well, even though he's at 15 supply, he can't go up to orbital command until the barracks is done. So it won't be that 15 orbital that you guys are used to seeing, but behind this, we do have Curious going to go double hatch before pool, and this is really cool. Doing that early drone scout, saying, okay, I can't really do anything to beat this. Your command center first is placed on the low ground. You may think you can build lings and run by, but if you actually do that, he'll lift up, has started his supply depot wall up here so he can be safe against all-ins early on. So Curious just going to get the read on that and go double hatch, and he's keeping an eye on the SCVs. If he went and got a gas immediately, an SCV could leave Marine King's base and then go down to this one hatch and then build a bunker. But because Curious is being so active with this drone, keeping an eye, making sure no SCVs leave, he doesn't have to worry about any bunkers being placed on this because he knows where every single SCV is. Additionally, you got now the Overlord going to be placed on this high ground so he can see when Marine King ends up leaving. Now, this Overlord is really good because you can see when the Terran player leaves his base, but a lot of Terrans on Cloud Kingdom just go into the late game because it can be so hard to attack up into a Terran's natural or third base on this map just because you got ramps at both spots and they are relatively close. So Curious's play, I like it so much. The drone that was scouting returns at the perfect time to mine minerals over at this third base. That pull is done, and he is going to be building two queens out right now, knocking the third just yet. There we go, it has started. So he is just going to be droning up for a very long period of time, and guess he took out the neutral supply depot, was that? That was an odd explosion, but there is a neutral supply depot back here preventing anyone from building a few things and walling someone in. And yes, that neutral supply depot did go down. There are plenty of Marines up on this high ground. Going to be placing supply depots in front of the bunker, preventing any surface area those lings have for attacking this, which allows Marine King to hold this base really, really easily. But again, MKP has no scouting. He doesn't know the Zerg went double hatch before pool, and we'll see what Curious ends up doing because he is getting gas now. That second gas is being built, and this gas has mined about 80 gas, so we'll see exactly if he ends up going for a really fast layer or if he just gets speed right away, and that speed will allow him to do a little bit of aggression. We do have, just before him getting to 100 gas, these lings going to come in, see what MKP is doing. He wants to get some type of information so he knows, do I need speed right now or can I be safe and go for a layer? Marine King going to be getting a Hellion out, 2 Hellions to be exact, and Stim at the same time, so it looks like he may be doing some type of Stim timing, or it could possibly be some type of medevac timing. However, the factory is done, and Marine King isn't producing a starport, which would, of course, indicate he is not going to do any type of medevac drop timing. against Curious, and Curious now going to be getting that speed, getting a Baneling's Nest as well. Keep in mind, he is not getting that lair. His tech is going to be staying at Hatch Tech, so it looks like he sees something and he wants to do some type of bust or damage to MarineKing, and we'll see how successful that can actually be. MarineKing right now building a few Marauders out, getting double reactors on these barracks, so going to go, I guess, the few Marauders just going to tank some damage in. A long time ago, about a month or two, when you saw Marauders being built in TVZ, you immediately knew they were going to do some type of all-in because Marauders weren't really that useful. However, nowadays, where players just ignore tanks and Marauders are used to tank Baneling hits, they are actually pretty darn good if you do have the micro to pull them off. So MarineKing will be getting a handful of Marauders that is like between 2 and 5 before he wants to move out. Just in case Banelings come, they can take those hits of the Banelings. And the factory is going to be moving after giving it to the starport, so it is indeed going to be some type of medevac timing. And that's an odd spot to be floating this factory. I'm not exactly sure why he's doing it, but maybe he's going to get a tech lab and then have tanks right down here. But if you want to build tanks on Cloud Kingdom, it's really good to have them up in your factory. We do have Lings and Banelings now going in for Curious, as MarineKing has started to move out, and those Banelings are going to go towards those Marines. But again, everyone does take it up in that one shot. Curious is not going to be doing any damage really there, but as I was saying, if you do the factory floor tank, it's really nice to have it on the high ground, so that way the tank finishes, it can go up and siege right here, protect the natural, and then also go and protect the third base over here. MarineKing, though, is approaching the base of Curious with his Hellions, and does have 6 of them. And Curious burrowing a Spine Cola, getting more Banelings and Lings. He knows that MarineKing is here. MarineKing going to be sending more stuff over, has these 2 medevacs along with all his units, and the Bioforce is actually leading the way, so when the Lings come, the Hellions will just do the AoE damage against that. Now a Marauder is going up again just to tank the hits. We do have Stim and medevacs done for MarineKing, so he is going to be pushing up here any minute now. There we go. Stim does go down, trying to take out that Spine Cola. Banelings get some really good hits off on a lot of those Hellions, and MarineKing is going to be forced to pick up and get away, saving a few of those units, but going into this loss tab, that looks like it was more cost-effective for Curious right there, but MarineKing does have a wall up back at home, just 1 depot short right there. The command center being placed in front of the wall, again, so it can just tank some Baneling hits, and a tank is going to be produced for MarineKing, so he is floating the factory down here just so he has the tanks closer to this natural. But again, if any all-in comes, this is not where you want your tank spawning. So I'm really curious on why MarineKing is doing that. The Overlord does not get taken out, does manage to escape, and we do have a lot of Banelings morphed in for Curious. Going back to all his bases, he does not have a lair yet, and this is 11 minutes into the game. So this attack has to do some type of damage, and MarineKing is just going to start pulling further and further ahead as he started his upgrades. Baneling's coming in from behind, but MarineKing does lift up and now going to slowly unload everything. But a lot of Banelings are now going into MarineKing's base, and this attack is almost guaranteed to do damage. All the Banelings going into that middle line. The whole natural of MarineKing just explodes, but it looks like he will be holding this off. The Banelings were attacking the SCVs, and whoa, that was a lot of Banelings that just exploded out of nowhere. But he is going up into the main base of MarineKing. He has already killed 22 SCVs. And the SCVs have a really good split, and those Banelings can't do really any damage up into the main base, killing 2 workers for all the Banelings you did see there. But going into the worker count now, it's 40 versus 47, so that attack did damage, but did it actually do enough against MarineKing? Curious has definitely put his economy on hold for a little bit to get all these units out, and MarineKing still relatively even on workers. This one tank does have siege mode now. Will he start going up into siege mode, or is he just going to decide, yes, now is my time to push out? But we do have a lot of Lings sitting right here. The Overlord does see everything moving out, so those Lings will go in for a counterattack, and the wall is now complete by MarineKing. These Lings can't really do any damage. A few of them will be going down, but he does manage to get away. The key thing is he has pulled these units back, allowing him time to get more units out, because just before that attack, he was droning up. It was 47 drones, I think I said, now it's 59. So if MarineKing just walked across the map while Curious was droning up, that would have been really bad. So these Lings didn't really do any damage, but they kept Curious alive, which is a huge deal. The command center now going to be floating over towards that third base. We don't have Curious taking a 4th base yet, which he will need to think about doing. He is going up into Spire Tech, working on 2-2 right now, along with MarineKing. The upgrades are very even. That 1 Ling does go down, does not have burrows. So command center now is going to be taking that 3rd base, and MarineKing queuing up 2 more gases right away. So he's either going to not go or not skip tanks and keep producing tanks. It looks like that. We may see another factory go down, but he's going to be up on 6 gas, and he's mainly going bio. So this, it's kind of curious to see exactly what Marine King will do. He is getting those mech upgrades, so he is going to keep on building those tanks. Not going to be one of those games where he just goes Marine, Marauder, Medevac, and does well. These handful of Marines do see the Lings on that low ground, and it looks like he's going to try to bait them on over. The Lings are in hold position, does keep 4 up on this high ground in case the Lings wanted to engage. He could pick up and get a lot of kills. Lings coming in, and the tanks are firing on them, getting a handful of kills. 5 Lings down right there, and now we have Lings attacking this and sees the Marines on the high ground. Again, the Medevac can just go up and down that cliff all day, so these Lings can't really do any damage attacking them. That would be really bad. The 4th base has gone down for Curious, as he knows Marine King now on 3 base, and he always wants to stay at least 1 base ahead. Going into his tech, he is still at Lair Tech. He does not have Infestation Pit, but he is going mutas, getting that +1 air attack. So we'll see if this does any damage. It's really good for counterattacking when Marine King decides to leave his base. He doesn't have any missile turrets up, but he is building a sensor tower. So that sensor tower can make it hell for the mutas. We have Marine King moving out and Curious. Going to send a squad of Lings over to that 3rd base. No, he is going to be pulling back as he sees Marine King is dangerously close to his base. There we go. The sensor tower is up here, so we can see any counterattacks coming, and does have really nice SimCity over at this 1 base. So Lings will have a really tough time running by. We do have tanks positioned on the low ground. Marines picking up, and the tanks getting a lot of free kills there. We do have Marine King with really nice positioning down here. Marines by these tanks, but again, the tanks on the low ground make it really hard for the Lings to do anything to them. And now it looks like he wants to do a counterattack going over to this SimCity. We can see not only does he have tanks, but he also has a lot of units behind all these scattered buildings, which do form walls and does keep those Lings choked up, allowing the Marines to get a lot of kills. Here we go. The Lings are coming in. Keep in mind, Marine King does know this thanks to that sensor tower. Missile turret is going up as the mutas, I believe, have been spotted going over into that natural, but Banelay's going in, taking out a few SCVs. It was, I believe, 24 before that. Now it is 38, taking out 14 SCVs. Keep in mind, though, the mutas did a lot of damage over to that natural as well. Marines, though, positioned around the tanks, so the mutas can't really go in and get any free volleys. Actually, they could on this high ground. He's going to be trying to do just that. 1 muta goes down, and the tank doesn't fall, so Marine King did an excellent bait right there. Taking out a muta is always a nice thing. Infestation Pit now just finishing for Curious, but it's going to take a while for that Passion Glands upgrade to finish, so he's not going to have fungal growth anytime in the immediate future. This push can do a lot of damage for Marine King, using a scan, pushing back all those creep tumors, and that is a lot of Marines going into Marine King's vision. He doesn't use any scans on Curious's base so far, but those Marines have to start getting a big split off, as that's a lot of Banelings. Now a lot of Marines are going down. Lings take out all the rest of the Marines. Now these mutas going to be able to clean up the tanks, and since he has muta tech, he can easily start picking off these medevacs. That medevac count was very high before this engagement, but those mutas are going to thin that out, and medevacs are a critical role in TVZ, and now Marine King's going to be forced to build a lot more medevacs, which will lower his tank numbers and also the Thor numbers that he is going up to, but those Marines are almost at 3-3. That has started. Curious does not have Hive Tech yet, so he's going to be stuck on 2-2 for some time. Marine King will most likely finish 3-3 before 2-2 even begins for the Zerg. As I say that, the Hive does start, so it is possible for him to start 3-3 before the 2-2 finishes, but Marine King is going to be ahead on upgrades. Keep in mind, though, he did get +1 mech upgrade, which is really nice. Not getting +2 just yet. Probably going to see that soon. That plays a critical role once we get into this late game. Allows those Thors to do some damage to Brood Lords. And those Lings are going to go take out all the Marines along with the Banelings. The Muta's going to come back in, pick out those medevacs. The Marine King may have just overextended himself right here. A lot of Marines coming down, but this fourth base is in trouble, and Marines coming back. Lings are going to keep those occupied. Muta's going on that command center. Should be going on the SCVs, as the command center will just be able to lift up and repair, but Lings are on the SCVs as well. Everything gets cleaned up at Marine King's fourth base. This one Thor trying to deal with those Lings. Command center does lift up, and the mutas, I don't believe, will be able to take it out. Marines and Thors are here, and those mutas will be taken out by the Thor volleys. And, well, they do retreat going into the upgrades of the muta. Just +1 attack, hasn't really started anything else. Now that Hive is just completing. Will he go for the immediate Greater Spire and start going into Broodlords, or is he going to stay at this Ling Bling? He is getting another base up, and with Marine King being behind 2 bases, he can just stay at Ling Bling for a very long time. Lots of Banelings floating on that one Thor. And I think that command center now has gone down. Muta's going to be engaging into these Marines. They are still 2-2, but almost 3-3. That is just about done with these 3 medevacs healing them. Mutas can't really do that much damage, but those Baneling hits are just so done brutal. Going into the Lost tab, we can see Curious is actually being almost as cost efficient as Marine King, and that is really good for the Zerg player, especially after he has spent a lot of Banelings on those SCVs, because Banelings do cost more than workers. So when you exploit a lot on the worker line, it can be tough to actually trade cost efficiently, but he is doing just that and has a really good economy. 56 SCVs to the 88 drones, and the Mutas coming into this natural, picking off even more SCVs. Marine King is going to have to make something happen. He is getting spread really thin over at this natural and his 4th base, which is going to be reconstructed. So that, yes, that did fall in that last engagement. We do have 3-3 on the way with adrenal glands as well, and that Girdle Spire immediately started along with an Ultralisk Cavern. But with the Marines being at 3-3, Ultras may not be the best call. Broodlords will be really nice against this army, because with the constant aggression, he has kept the anti-air so low and forced the cancel on that command center. Now Marine King is suddenly just on one base, or one mining base, and that is a horrible situation. You can see him now not really mining any gas, just saying, I need to get units out, I need to build Marines. But unlike the last games we have seen of Marine King, he doesn't have that many medevacs, so even though he's going to constantly produce these Marines out, he's not going to have any medevac support, or not have the medevac support that he needs, so the Marines won't be as strong as I think Marine King needs them to be. 154 supply to 198. We have a lot more Lings and Blings going into 3 Ultras, getting Infestors out, so he is not going straight into the Broodlords. Going to get a few Ultras out first, and that will absorb the tank volleys, and his Lings and Banelings may be enough to clean up the rest of the Marines, especially with the fungal growths. And there's looks like just enough medevacs to out-heal the fungal growth damage. We'll see how long this aggression comes. A huge flank will be coming over from the side of Marine King, and Curious is going to do a lot of damage here. The lanes go immediately on the tanks. Fungal growth going down on everything, and Marine King's forces just evaporate. But he has more Marines in the back. This one tank is going to siege up. Will he be able to hold the 4th base? Medevacs trying to get out. Those Infestors do have energy to fungal growth them, but he's not going to be using them on those medevacs, as he doesn't have the anti-air to follow up the fungus to actually kill off the medevac. So that was a really dangerous situation for Marine King. If he had all these medevacs killed, that would not be good. And now he is up to 12 medevacs, which is enough for him to just keep constantly producing Marines and just stay alive. But will he be able to actually push onto the creep of Curious, as Curious is just moving in more and more Banelings? Marine King's 5th does go up, giving him 2 mining bases. That Ultra will go down relatively quickly, not really doing any damage. Again, that medevac count is starting to hit the critical mass, and what are we going to have? Another Spire coming out of Curious, so he can start getting more upgrades for those Broodlords. The +2 flying attack, and also actually going back into Mutas. I think those were just recently built, so maybe if he does fungal growth medevacs, he has Mutas to clean them up, which would be really nice, because he now knows he has to get some sort of anti-air out. He can't just say, just ignore the medevacs the rest of this game. Mutas are going to be coming in, going straight for the medevacs, which are fungal going to start cleaning up those medevacs, thinning out the numbers. Lots of Ultras coming in, 106 supply to 172. It looks like Marine King will be losing game number 1, as he just doesn't have an answer for the just sheer mass of units out of Curious. We do see small counterattacks set up, but so many Ultralists now in Marine King's mining bases, and this not a good situation. Trying to micro those Marines to take out all these Ultras, takes out one of them, but there are 4 more left. Now he does get cleaned up by the Spine Crawlers, Banelings, and Lings, and now going to unload, lose 1 Marine, but still has 2 units to try to take out an entire base of Zerg. And Marine King has actually pushed Curious outside of his base, but he is half the supply of Curious. These Lings are going to be coming in here, and Marine King is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Does not have the units to really compete about this. Ultra's going to come in, start killing off all the SCVs in this middle line. Infestors are sitting here deciding what to do. Start fungal growthing medevacs, and Marine King does GG out of that game. We will be going into game number 2, so stay tuned, guys.